Welcome back, guys. Emo Tempest here, and today we're going to go over a lot of spoilers. Since the last time we talked about the Opus 7 stuff, there has been a lot of things revealed to us already. I don't know the exact count. I want to say we're somewhere around 50, like maybe 1/4 of the whole set has been revealed. And because I know the first on the part one of this video we talked about, maybe like 8 or 10 or something like that. Yeah, there's been a lot. There's been revealed at Nationals, at all the Europe Cups, and all the Grand Championships in Asia. The tons of cards have been revealed since then, like I said. So we're going to get into all of them. But before we do that, make sure you guys stop by Happy Little Hug Factory. If you're ready to pre-order your Opus 7 stuff, remember... Well, we'll talk about it in a sec, but remember, you do need to, if you want to get that Noctis promo, you do want to make sure you pre-order as early as possible, because only, I think, 75% of pre-orders are going to get it. So make sure you do that. But yeah, so without further ado, we're going to get right into it now, and let's get started. Alright guys, now the first one we're going to start off with is water. I'm not going to do this in any particular order. I was not able to keep track of which ones came out in which order and so on, because so many came out so fast. But yeah, so we're going to start off with water. We did talk about some of the other spoilers. There was like a bomb and a Corel on the podcast, so if you haven't checked that out, we'll have those there. They're not going to make this video, that's why I bring that up. But we do have this new water monster. It's a 2-cost Sahajin. Put Sahajin into the break zone, choose up to 2 forwards you control, activate them. They gain 1000 power until the end of the turn. I love this effect. It's a lot cheaper than like an Astrologin or something like that. So it works out. It also has the discard ability, like all the new monsters. It's kind of the new monster mechanic for this game, for this set. Going forward, the monsters from this set have this ability. Choose 1 forward of cost 1, return it to its owner's hand. You can only use this ability if Sahajin is in your hand. I don't see too many uses for this part of its effect yet, but I definitely do appreciate the choose up to 2 forwards and activate them and give them plus 1000. It'll definitely give your opponents a little more hesitation when attacking. One of the other things we have now is a 5-cost forward. Styx, who knows? Final Fantasy Legend, the 4 generals. When Styx enters the field, choose a forward your opponent controls. If the cost to play Styx was only paid with water CP, return it to its owner's hands. So that's really cool. This is something I think that we're going to see a little bit more of now. I think the Estinian, we've seen a couple cards like this, like Emperzan and Estinian from the last set. Said if they were only paid with a certain amount of CP from a certain thing, like Estinian was only lightning backups and Emperzan is only fire CP, you can only summon him with fire CP. Now this is a little different in that scenario, but it says if it was paid only with water CP, meaning if all the 5 crystal points that were used to summon this are all water, then you get the effect. So that's really cool. I like that it has that now. Just something else more to pay attention to against your opponent or against yourself. Undying Cry, S ability, S, 2 waters and tap until the end of the turn. All forwards your opponent controls lose 5000 power. It's insane. You can only use this ability if you have received 5 points of damage though. So it is a late game thing. Water usually does that. I don't think they're going to have a problem. I don't think by the time I summon Undyne, I'm gonna be like, man, I need to take another point of damage before I can S you. Yeah, water's usually living on the edge anyway. If you play water, you know what I mean. For the most part, you're always taking, 4, 5, 6 points of damage, especially if you're playing Fusoya. Which, not to say this isn't a bad card, like for that reason. We have like Steiner is when you take in 3, you'll draw a card. So the water kind of lives in that realm a little bit, where it's in that Dark Knight realm where you need to take damage. So again, this is not that serious. Maybe you play Zodiark and then later you'll have this set up. Who knows, man? I'm sure we'll find a way to make this live all the time. Next is one of the ones I was really astounded with when I saw it. We saw this when we were at Nationals, I believe. But yeah, Kimahri Guardian. The cost required to play Kimahri onto the field is reduced by 1 for each Job Guardian you control, which is cool. The Job Guardian other than Kimahri you control cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities, which is cool. The category X characters other than Kimahri you control cannot be chosen by your opponent's summons, which is amazing. So Kimahri is definitely like a blanket for all your 10 characters and guardians, job class guardians. So we all know it's going to be the Walkas, your Titus and Orange and stuff like that. Lulu, I think, I don't know if we'll get it. Yeah, I think the new Lulu's a Guardian, but she's a backup. Still, when I did mention that Lulu, I did say we were going to get more Guardians and stuff like that. So here it is, the first one that we'll talk about. But I really like this card. People are going to be excited to play Titus Legend again because of this guy. It's going to make him a lot safer trying to Blitz Ace. I'm very appreciative of that. So I think this card will see a lot more play. I think this card will see a lot of play. Let me rephrase that. It's definitely very strong. Definitely helps the team a lot. Like, it helps your forwards a lot. So it doesn't help from Famford and stuff like that, but it's still a good card. Definitely. And a Guardian deck is probably something going to come out of this set. So I think that's it for the water ones. Yeah, I only have 3 here. We'll move on to wind. Chelenka. We mentioned that Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles will be getting a lot more cards in this one, and this is one of the ones that we had seen in the picture I showed in the last one, and we finally got it revealed. It's actually a legendary. Oh, by the way, I forgot. I don't think the water ones weren't legendary. It was a common, rare, and a hero. Chelenka, legendary forward girl, FFCC. If a category Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles character you control deals damage to a forward, the damage increases by 1,000 instead. This includes battle damage, for all those wondering. So you guys don't forget that it also includes battle damage. It's very important. When Chelenka enters the field, deal 1,000 damage to all forwards your opponent controls. When Chelenka forms a party with a card named Yuri and attacks, choose one forward or monster and break it. We'll talk about Yuri in a second, but Yuri can also be other colors, I believe. So he can also be wind, and he's a light card that can also change colors, and when they attack they can break stuff, which is great. I like that. So the whole Chelenka Yuri Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicle is another deck that's going to come out of this set, it seems strong. It's definitely getting a lot of support. I like this card as on its own already. It has 3 abilities, which gives it a lot of value in different terms. It's kind of like this. It's another L. So when I think of L's with 3 abilities, I kind of think of like Maria has triple taps, or even Garnet had can't be touched, summons cost less, or she can cast summons with 2 waters, and then plus 1,000 for every summon you cast. Things like that. Things that give you more value for a single card. Those are the kind of things you want to think about. So I like this card for that reason. It's very strong. It will definitely see play, I'm sure. We have to see what other Crystal Chronicles cards come out of it, but I'm excited. Bartholomew. Father. Backup. When Bartholomew enters the field, you may play card named Hope from your hand onto the field, which is nice. For 2 wind and tap, put Bartholomew into the break zone, choose a forward, activate it, it gains 1,000 power until the end of the turn. That second effect's not so much, but a backup that plays a forward is very interesting. I like the concept of it. I don't know how much play it's going to see. The hopes, I've always felt like the hopes have always been a little underrated. They're usually under curve, like devastatingly under curve. Like they're 3, like I don't know them off the top of my head, but it's like a 3 for 5 or a 4 for 6 or something like that. They search Alexander's and they have something to do with Alexander, obviously, but I don't know. It's more of that same thing. I like this kind of synergy with it to play a backup, get a forward, search a summon kind of thing. It's good. It has synergy. It has value in it. I just don't know how powerful it's going to be. I can't say for sure. I'm sure in the future. I think I said the same thing about Layla Viking too. It's like, why do I want to search Layla Viking? Like, why am I going to get Layla Viking to get another, like a 3-cost forward? And now it's like the most popular combo. This could probably be something like that too. It probably not to the extent as Layla Viking, but still something that's going to change. That's going to open up more decks for wind, which is very nice. So we'll see where this goes. And then the next one is going to be insane. So here's Kelger. When Kelger enters the field, reveal top 5 cards of your deck. Play 1 Job Dawn Warrior among them onto the field and return the other cards on to the bottom of the deck in any order. And Chelenka was the legendary. So Kelger's really cool. I love this art. I don't know if it's the same. Yeah, Toshitaka. Seems like the same artist who did the Final Fantasy II stuff from the last set. I'm really hoping they like spit out a book with all this art. I really need to like own it and have it. So we did talk about Galuf or Galif or however anyone wants to pronounce it last time on the other video. So summoning him, and you can play any job down where it doesn't specify color. So wind is definitely, you can do multicolor deck. The title deck is definitely going to be a lot more fun for sure. But yeah, this opens up a lot of potential. He is a little 6 cost, so maybe Star Stable, if anyone's thinking about it, will let you play him to search another forward to summon that. There is a lot of value in that, so something to think about. It's obviously going to be under curve because it's going to provide another body on the board, probably a very strong one. Maybe this Dawn Warrior set is going to have. I know we've seen Earth and Wind so far. And the other ones are all over the place. There's like a lightning one, an earth one, wind and water, I think. So, or wind and ice, I can't be sure. But anyway, it's a very good card. I like the ability because I'm assuming all these new Dawn Warriors are going to be much more threatening than the previous ones. So Kelger's going to be really cool. Yeah, that's definitely in for the wind ones. So we'll be moving on now. All right, next is going to be the fire stuff. Now we did cover a little bit. We did see the Guardian and Warrior of Light stuff. So here's another Warrior of Light card. 4 cost forward, Aegis. Could have been pronounced either way. The job Warrior of Light forwards, other than Aegis, you control gain Brave. Now these guys are getting everything. They're getting Brave, Haste, and power buffs, and tons of damage reduction and whatever. When Aegis enters the field, you may play a forward of cost 2 from your hand onto the field. So it's any cost 2 forward. So definitely the Soul Warrior of Light is going to be the first thing that comes to mind, the one we talked about last time. And there's going to be tons of ideas here. What's his name? Cadeaux, the 2 cost Cadeaux, maybe special something else. There's a couple fire cards. Maybe the 2 cost Warrior of Light, Fire Warrior of Light 2 gets Brave, kind of annoying to deal with. Those are just a few off the top of my head. Seems like a good card. It definitely gives you a little more swarming for the deck itself. We have seen more Fire Warrior of Light stuff, so maybe the deck itself might concentrate a little more than being multicolored. Who knows? It'll probably help the consistency of it, that's for sure. So that's good. Next we have Latov, more Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Father. When Latov enters the field, choose a card named Chelenka or a card named Yuri in your break zone, play it onto the field. So now they have the Chelenka Yuri like deck or whatever. The Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles deck has now a little bit of recursion, which is really great. And it doesn't just get it back to your hand, it plays it onto the field. So it's really strong. It's a 5 cost. Maybe you'd play a 1 or 2 of just to get in for the late game. Yeah, obviously it loses to any remove from play stuff like White Mage or Hellsvegger, things of that nature, but it's still a good card. I think it's gonna help this deck a lot. I think it's cool. So I guess what we're looking at here is Fire, Wind, and the Yuri is Light. So Fire Wind deck, which is gonna be good. We're gonna see a little more of that than we have since the Fire Dancer deck we talked about a long time ago. But yeah, see if it'll see play. Next is Zaz. 4 cost backup EX Burst. When Zaz enters the field, you may search for 1 fire summon and add it to your hand. Not bad. I don't know if it's a 4, if it needed to be a 4 cost. Search for a fire summon. I'm very indifferent about this. I don't know if it's going to be necessary. I'd rather pay the 2 extra costs to get say Tuna out and get my summons stronger and summon 1 for free. So I don't know. It's okay. It could probably see some play maybe in the title. It'll help the title deck a little bit. Who knows? But yeah, right now it's not on my radar. Next we have another Auron, another Guardian. The category 10 forwards you control gain Brave, which is nice. And then tap Auron to choose a blocking forward. It gains 1,000 power until the end of the turn. Simple. 4 cost 8k on curve. 10 Fire Guardian. Not bad. It's a hero, so we'll definitely have to get our hands on some of these. It's good. It's gonna go with the deck. Like we're looking like it's gonna be fire and water mostly. The Guardian deck. It's not a bad card. It's okay. Giving so my only problem with this too is that some people, I feel like a lot of people don't care enough about Brave. And then plus 1,000 power to a blocking. It's very specific too. It's a little slower. So they will be able to attack, and then when they block on their on the turn, you'll be able to do this. But what was his name? Cyan? Cyan gave that to 6. No one plays Cyan. So I feel like Orin's going to fall into the same realm there. I don't know if he's going to get outshined, especially by any of his other counterparts or any of the other, 10 Guardian characters that are going to be essential to this deck. But as of right now, he's not making a big, I need to play him kind of move for himself. If you guys can understand where I'm coming from, because, Cyan didn't, as much as I wanted to early on, making the Fire 6 deck, Cyan, Sabin, I think I posted one. It was the worst video I posted. You guys hated it, so... again, Orin's falling. I feel like he's going to fall into that same thing with Cyan. And next, we have a 3-cost EX Burst, Rain, Mirage Keeper, World of Final Fantasy, which it's nice to see more WoF. EX Burst, when Rain enters the field, you may search for one category WoF monster and add it to your hand. The category WoF monsters you control gain 1000 power. That's cool. Searching for monsters now. I think the last one searched for Lan specifically and then gave Lan a power up. So this Rain will search for monsters. I'm going to have to definitely go back and see all the World of Final Fantasy monsters. But this is... I like it that it's... I guess it's cool that it's a forward. It's going to search you something. It's underpowered, but it is an EX Burst, so there's some trade-off there. I just like the picture too. Rain's super cute. But yeah, so this is it for the fire ones. I really got to go play World of Final Fantasy, honestly. It's one of the ones I haven't played yet. I hear it's super fun. Maybe when it comes out for the Switch, I'll pick it up, Maxima, and get all the games out. Next is Lightning. RG Memorist, more Final Fantasy Legend. Backup, 2-cost backup, excuse me. When RG is put from the field into the break zone, select one of the 3 following actions. Choose a forward, it gains haste until the end of the turn. Choose a forward, activate it. Choose one backup of cost 1 in your break zone, play it onto the field. Now, so I like that it's simple. It's a 2-cost lightning backup that gives us options. The problem that we talked about now is that when RG is put from the field to the break zone, so you're going to have a way to destroy it. Lightning does have Lulu H, and it's so pretty much you can destroy it, deal 5k, and then maybe play another 1-cost backup into 1 cost in your break zone, play it onto the field. Yeah, so you can do this and then replenish itself with one of the summoners, which is cool. I like that idea. And then next turn you'll be able to pop it again for another 5k if you needed to. But I don't know if the other effect gives something haste or activate. I like that this is, I don't want to say it's the first, but it's the first one that I can think of that does some gives Lightning a way to activate one of their forwards on their own, other than Elua. Elua just activates everyone and does something, but this is something else that finally gives them a little way to counter the freezing and stuff like that. So that's cool. I like that in that sense. But again, remember, you're gonna have to pop it on your pop it somehow. So Feral Chaos or Lulu or something like that. So but giving the haste isn't important. Lightning has haste on everything, and it has Red Mage, and yeah, so I think they could have gone with something else for that. Maybe a power buff or power reduction on something. Who knows? It's still a decent 2-cost backup, and if your deck is doing something where you're messing with your own backup lineup a lot, then this might be a good card for you. And next we have Red Mage forward. When Red Mage enters field, choose one forward of cost 3 or less your opponent controls. If the cost paid to play Red Mage included water CP, return it to its owner's hand. Interesting. And 2 lightning, put Red Mage into the break zone, choose a forward of cost 4 or less, break it. This is cool. I think this is the second Red Mage forward we've seen. So the idea of the Red Mage deck seems a lot more interesting. The problem with this one now is that it starts opening up into water CP Red Mages, or like a red. So the Red Mages we've had up until now have been fire and lightning, and so now it opens up to needing water CP. It's not impossible. If you're playing multicolored decks, you're gonna want to have Cosmos Chaos or something. Maybe even Shantotto, who knows, or the Sid engine, some way to generate those water backups or the water CP. But I like this card; it's cool. I definitely want to explore the Red Mage concept in this set. I haven't done it yet. I know Joe Lizinski took it to, I think it was Indianapolis, which was super. I didn't get to actually see it or play him, but I think that's what I don't know if it was Indianapolis. I don't remember, but I remember hearing he took one somewhere. But it was cool. And yeah, by the way, sorry about some of these. Like, I know some of these images are blurrier than others, by the way. The sources are all over the place. You know, some were official releases, some were screenshots from someone's tablet and stuff like that. We just care what the card says. I'm reading for you anyway, guys, so hope you don't mind. The reason I say that is because this next one, the Ember, is probably the worst, like, detailed one we have. It's probably the best card to talk about so far, but when the Emperor enters the field, choose 2 forwards your opponent controls, dull them. It's a 5-cost forward, by the way. And choosing 2 forwards is a mandatory thing. You have to choose 2 your opponent controls, dull them. During your turn, when a forward your opponent controls becomes dull, choose 1 active forward your opponent controls, deal it 3,000 damage. So it's kind of weird there. I do like it as a card. So during your turn, we'll read it again so we can talk about it. During your turn, when a forward your opponent controls becomes dull, choose 1 active forward. The problem is here, like, you couldn't choose the same 2 forwards and then deal 3,000 damage to each of them because they're no longer active. So it's kind of weird that in order for you to do this, your opponent will have to have like 3 forwards maybe, so you can duel 2 and then deal 1 6,000 damage or something like that. Effectively, what I like about this card is that it might give Lightning a way to fight, Layla Vikings or stuff like that. What's it called? The Thaumaturge is in its own regard, obviously, if it has enough cards in hand to play this altogether. So it's just something to think about. I don't know if it's going to effectively, hinder the Layla Viking combo as being a 5-cost, Lightning card. But it's definitely something to watch out for. It's going to make the matchup a little more interesting if people do decide to play it. I just don't know. I'm pretty sure Layla Viking is going to be around for a little while. So maybe people will consider this as well. And then we do have Zapped. So cute. Zapped is also a monster in all situations, which is really interesting. Which is also probably why Rain searches him. Probably makes him searchable by Rain. I'm not pretty sure. World of Final Fantasy monster in all situations. So in the deck, out of your deck, grave, etc. When Zapped is put from the field into the break zone, you may search for 1 card named Ramu and add it to your hand. That's good. I like it. It's a 2-cost 4K, decent. Gets you Ramu to your hand. Yeah, searchable Rain, searchable, simple. I don't know. Seems good. I wonder if we'll get more of these kinds of like 2-cost forwards that are also monsters. It definitely seems interesting. My problem with this is that I'd rather have a monster that can also be a forward, because now he's just more vulnerable to stuff like any, pretty much any regular card that targets forwards and stuff like that. But he's definitely interesting. Going to be able to get searching the summons, the summon Ramu, tons of Ramus to choose from. So, well, yeah, that wraps up these 2. Let's move on, guys. Next is going to be the fire cards. We're going to start here with another Dawn Warrior, Cesat. So just by looking at 4-cost AK, Final Fantasy V, Cesat, he has 4 effects. Cesat gains 2 Earth CP. Cesat gains 2 power until the end of the turn. For Earth Ice, choose a dull forward, deal it 4K. Earth Wind, choose a forward, activate it. Earth Lightning, choose an active forward, deal it 4K as well. So when I was mentioning Kelger, I did talk about the other ones, and I'm like I said, these new Dawn Warriors are gonna have access, or they're gonna be multicolored. Like there's a bunch of forwards, or the job class and the category itself is gonna have different colors. So having access to all of these isn't gonna be impossible. They'll probably play Shantoto, so all these effects are going to be very active at any point. I think it's an interesting card. I don't know how much I would, just thinking off the top of my head, these effects are like, okay, you can always do Ice Earth. Ice Earth is probably the strongest combination. Ice Wind is also really good. Ice Lightning, we didn't see too much of it. But what's cool is you can do these effects multiple times. Do you have the CP for them? So that's something to think about too. But yeah, so he's alright, not bad. We're going to go on to the next one now. It is a standard unit, 4-cost Monk AK. When Monk enters the field, choose 1 damage forward. If the cost paid to play Monk included Lightning CP, deal it 5K. See, we're seeing a little more of this, if using another CP to pay it kind of thing, which is interesting. It's gonna make the dual color decks or the multicolor decks a lot more, give them more options and more things to do, more openings, more plays, more lines of play, as people like to say. But it's an interesting card, could be useful. Now Prish. A new Prish, 9 cost, crazy. The cost required to play Prish on the field is reduced by 1 for each card named Prish in your break zone. Okay, so that's not bad. There is a lot of Prishes. I think there's 9 right now, so this could go down a lot. It doesn't say it cannot be free, so if you have all the other Prishes in your break zone, I guess it's free. It doesn't say. Yeah, maybe it could be free. That'd be cool. When Prish enters the field, choose one forward your opponent controls. Deal it damage equal to Prish's power. So that's cool. It has its own like built-in Raban effect when it comes in. Obviously you can, counter this by reducing its damage in response to its effect, but it's still very interesting. I like the card. It might help. I don't know how much play it's going to see. These Prishes have always been great. Like, they sound great on paper, but once you fit them into a deck, try to put as many of them as you can to maximize their potential, like to special summon one from the deck or special summon one from your hand. It just gets clunky and cloggy, and it doesn't really do much for me. But who knows? This one might be the one that tilts that whole deck in the right direction. I'm very curious as to what you guys think of some of these cards. Moving on though is Kryl, however you guys want to pronounce. Warrior of Light. The cost required to cast your summons can be paid with CP of any element. Now this is by far the greatest thing. When you cast a summon, choose a forward. It gains 1,000 power until the end of the turn. Discard one summon until the end of the turn. Kryl cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities. So we're finally gonna see a crazy summoner-like deck. We have Garnet, Minwoo, and now Kryl. Earth, Water is very strong already, and I can only imagine it being better with all these different kinds of summons. It's going to take some balancing, obviously, and some things to work out, but I do like the concept of having them all on board. Or maybe at least just Cryo by herself. She's really good. I really do pay the cost to cast any summon can be paid with CP of any element. So that's super crazy, man. So you can effectively make her Earth in any color and just choose your favorite summons. Like, you don't even have to make like a dual color deck. You can have like a mono Earth deck, I guess, effectively. As long as she's out on the board, you can cast all those other summons with Earth CP. So there's that. I don't know. That's just something to think about. There's really a lot of options here. Having her available to cast them with any CP, or Minwoo attacking and being able to cast 4 or less, I believe it is. It's just really good. And then plus when you cast a summon, give something 1,000 K buff. So it's more insurance, more for one of your forwards when it attacks or stuff like that. So there's another hero. Wow, these heroes are gonna be insane, but they're really good. Next we're gonna go. I know I skipped the middle one. You'll see why in a bit. 2 cost monster, Earth, Flan. Put Flan into the break zone. Choose a forward. If your opponent doesn't pay 3 CP of any color, it cannot attack or block this turn. So like a more excessive Flan it. Like, you can do this or triple Flan it. And I'm pretty sure, if you guys didn't see, Flan it made a very strong showing at the Dark Crystal Cup in LA. So that was cool. Discard Flan, choose one blocking forward. It gains 1,000 power until the end of the turn. You can only use ability if Flan is in your hand. So that's okay. 1,000 is not that big of a deal. I do think it's cool that I think the other Flan will be able to search this Flan. It's the only thing I can think off this if you wanted to search more of this Flan. But pay triple C, like 3 CP is going to be super harsh. It might just effectively make Turbo that much more annoying. It's like you'll have the other Flan search this Flan and then force this one on your opponent and say, yeah, can you pay 3 CP? No, then I'm going to just keep attacking. So that's definitely going to be annoying to deal with. But that's what Flan is there for anyway. So some more disruption. I like it. I like Flan to begin with. One of our locals, he's still playing like the mono Earth deck with double or triple Flan that I built a while back. So And then I do want to talk about this Noctis. I have so many questions about this card. But just so you guys know, this is the full art promo that you get for purchasing a box or pre-ordering a box. Now, what I don't know, and if anybody has this answer, please drop me a comment and let me know. Are the full arts going to be available in the box at all? Or is it only going to be from pre-ordering? Because that's going to be very... And is this the only card getting full art, or is there going to be more from this set, or is it one per set from only pre-ordering? If anybody has any answers to these questions, please let me know. I'm very curious. Me personally, I like the concept of full arts. I don't like this full art for some reason. My real problem with it is that the font just gets really lost, or it just looks, it doesn't look as good to me. That's all. I like the layouts of the cards and the way they're designed. So this full art doesn't really excite me so much, but we'll see how it looks in real life in my hand. But let's talk about Noctis. 3-cost EX burst, forward, job prince. Finally we're seeing our first Final Fantasy 15 character. EX burst, when you receive damage, choose up to 1 forward. If you have received 6 points of damage, break it. Very nice. When you receive damage, choose up to a forward your opponent controls. Noctis and the chosen forward deal damage equal to their respective power to others. A lot of people are talking about Fusoya with this card, which is really nice. So you can hit yourself and then deal something 7, and then, you know, it's pretty effectively Noctis will activate, and it's a Hecaton Shear. They'll deal damage to each other, so that's cool. And then 2 earth and 2 colors during this turn. The next damage dealt to Noctis becomes 0. Which is cool. He can save himself. He's kind of has that warp strike effect. So, not really warp strike. It's just he kind of dodges damage. That's why I was saying that. But it's definitely a beautiful card. I'm excited to see Noctis. It's a good card all on its own. It's definitely gonna help like the whole EX Burst concept deck. And Earth has a lot of these really strong EX Bursts already, like Mustario, Titan. Raban and stuff like that. So, and the Atamos, and now we're gonna add Noctis to that list. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. So yeah, if you guys have any way of answering any of those questions, please let me know. Hit me up. I'm curious myself. I am getting mine. Remember, make sure to check the link below for Happy Little Hug Factory. Pre-order your boxes now, guys. You don't want to miss this. If the only way to get it is from pre-ordering boxes, please go pre-order your boxes, because the trade value on these are going to be probably in high demand, especially if the card is ridiculously overplayed. You just want to make sure you have some. If you don't plan on playing it, then at least to help you trade for your other stuff. Let's move on to Ice. Now we have Eduardo. This one's funny. When a job bard or forward you control attacks, your opponent discards 1 card from his hand. So far, this is the only bard forward, I believe. And then you could always play with one of the bards and then steal his job and attack. Have your opponent discard a card. I like it. It's cool. 5 for 8. Overpowered. Not overpowered. Let me rephrase that. Underpowered. Not worth it. I don't think so. Might be fun. Maybe Turbo will throw one of these in there too. Those decks get funnier every time I see the new ones. We got the Umaru one and then Sephiroth winning, and oh yeah. But yeah, so this is gonna be okay. There's like a meme flying around for this one if you guys haven't seen it. But next one is gonna be Sarah, and now I love this card a lot actually. When Sarah enters the field, choose as many characters as the category 13 characters you control. Okay, so this includes, you know, forwards, backups, and monsters. Dull them, and then you can tap dull 2 active category 13 characters. You choose 1 forward, freeze it. Now, if this isn't a game finisher, like I don't know what is. Let's say you have, I don't know, 3 forwards active, and you summon her, and you have at least 5, 13 characters. You just dull 5 things, and then everyone else will swing for game. Obviously, you can change the numbers of this by responding to her effect. But then imagining, let's say your opponent has like 8 forwards, right? And you can do this, and then summon Renoa and do it again, and then there goes his whole board. I think this card is really strong. I'm definitely going to explore it when I get my hands on it. If anything else, the title deck is gonna have mad fun with this deck. It's just like all forwards, and then, or not even, it'll be like a decent title deck, and it's just like summon, and then boom, dull everything, duel all your forwards, or duel everything, right? Choose as many characters as you control characters, so you can duel backups, forwards, monsters, just duel everything, deal with it. It's really great. I love it. Next is going to be 2-cost backup, Emperor, Final Fantasy Legend. When Emperor or a category FFL character enters the field, choose 1 forward of cost 5 or more your opponent controls, dull and freeze it. Seems good. It's a good backup. Maybe it'll help the deck. I can't imagine how many FFLs we have right now, but we're definitely going to get more in this set, so it's going to be something to think about. I don't like it when it's very specific to 5 cost. Like, the only thing I like is Diablos for that, because it has more options. So I don't know how much play this is going to see either. And now I do want to talk about, I saved this one for last week. Well, the last ice card. We're going to go into light and dark after this. But I did want to say, I saved snow for last. When a forward you control attacks, choose a forward your opponent controls, dull it. It's really strong. I'm not going to lie. It's really strong. But it's not ridiculously overpowered like everyone's, well, I don't know if everyone feels the same way, but everyone's already kind of upset, or at least I've heard opinions of people upset about this card because Ice keeps getting all these annoying cards to deal with. But this card is a 4-cost backup, right? And it says choose a forward, your opponent controls, dull it. Obviously, monsters are immune to this, which are just one way to look at it, but you can always prevent your opponent from attacking somehow, or, and then everyone was talking about Mecha Chocobo with this one. Mecha Chocobo will not work with this. It will in some capacity, like you'd have to attack with another forward to duel something, and then attack with Mecha Chocobo to break something and duel something else. But the Mecha Chocobo in this will not be as powerful as everyone thinks. Remember, when you attack, Mecha Chocobo, I believe, has to choose something dull first, then this will trigger, and then you'll duel something else, and then you can't, you know what I'm saying? It's just the way it's going to work. So yeah, it's gonna be an annoying card to deal with, definitely, but there are ways of getting rid of it. Also, obviously, Hecaton Share, Heretic Knight Garland. I don't think we're still ever gonna play that card, but Sephiroth and stuff like that. And we haven't seen it yet, but who knows if this set will give us more backup removal, which would be nice. I would like some myself, but I don't know. I don't think it's that serious to think about. Zemus was a 4-cost backup that everyone said, like, that has something crazy like this, like make something unblockable, but it doesn't. It's not as continuous as this, obviously, but, well, we'll see how it plays out, guys. If Ice goes anywhere else other than Turbo, then sure, this card will be annoying to deal with, but we'll see. We'll see how Ice evolves in this format. I know this video is running long, guys, so I'm going to try to wrap it up for you right now with the Dark and Light stuff. First, we'll start with a 3-cost Galdes, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, a 3-cost AK, which is cool. When Galdes is put from the field into the break zone, select one of the following 3 actions. Your opponent randomly discards a card from his hand. Nice. Choose one monster in your break zone and add it to your hand. I love it. Choose one forward. It loses 5,000 power until the end of the turn. So this card has no downsides. It's a 3 AK. This is going to be good just to splash in any deck, just to give you a little more options. I think this card will see play like Zidane did, the light one, especially if you're playing monsters. Like, you playing this card and then the high ultimate Seraph is like, this guy's gonna live and I'll kill all your other stuff and my monsters are safe. I don't know. I love this card right now. I'm really excited to get it, and it's only a hero, so yeah, definitely tons of value in him, so check that out. Next is the Nats spoiler, the national spoiler. When Sin, 9-cost. When Sin enters the field, break all forwards and monsters other than Sin. Sin deals you 1 point of damage. It's very expensive dark hole, but I like it. It's gonna be, what it does is ultimately it gives everyone like a board wipe instead of like having to confine yourself to Earth or Earth for Chantoto. So that's something to think about. It is very expensive, but we play Nidhogg now, so I don't know why I don't see why anyone would not play this. If you're willing to play a Nidhogg, like if you've ever played a Nidhogg, you're willing to play Sin. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not bad. You kill everything, reset the board, take initiative, and just deal yourself a point of damage. That's fine with me. And gets rid of monsters too. Like, take that, man. Just deal with it. This is my only thing that's concerning. Like, I was really considering bringing monsters back, especially with Galdes here. And just the way they metas, the way I see, I've noticed these cards coming out. But Sin, the more I see Sin, is like Sin's gonna really like take a dump on monsters. It's like, and then he has an S ability, Giga Gravitron. And if you guys remember from the game, pretty much he did this, and it was like game over automatically. You had to kill him before this happened when you're fighting him on the airship. So S and 9 CP, any color. At the end of your next turn, if Sin is on the field, your opponent loses the game. You can only use this ability during your turn. So yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost, I like these if he's still on the same at the end of the field. It's kind of like what's his name? It's kind of like that Paradise. Eldnar's Paradise in a way where it's like you have to win in that next turn. In this case, you have to keep Sin on the board for your next turn for you to win the game. It's going to be expensive to pull this off, honestly, so I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know which deck's going to be able to pull this off. I cannot wait to see this like done like on a live stream or something. Someone's going to do it. Honestly, if you're at a point where you're pitching another Sin and 9 more CP, you're already winning. I think like the only way you're gonna be able to do that is if you're already in the lead. Maybe you can rush the lead and just be like, I don't want to hit you for the other 4 points of damage, and Sin will stay alive. But man, keeping him on the field, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but I'm gonna say it is a really big deal. It's gonna be really difficult anyway. So we'll see how this card turns out. I really like it. I'm glad they're finally introducing him. He is a 10 forward, so he is searchable, so that's not ridiculous either. So you will be able to get him. And he's dark. Well, he's going to be fun. Next, we're going to move on to Yuri. Yuri's the other one we talked earlier with the Wind Stuff Chilenka. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. This is going to be the Opus 7 pre-release. That's going to go with our deck box and the packs that we get in a few weeks. So definitely look forward to getting this guy. This guy's going to be great too. He's going to go in pretty much... so the same way I see that Galdes or whatever is going to be just thrown into other decks, I feel like this guy can be thrown into any deck and kind of regulate colors. So we'll read it and you'll see what I'm talking about. So Yuri has all elements except dark, which is cool. So what that means right off the bat, no, you cannot pitch him because you cannot pitch light or dark. This is a field effect, so it only happens while he's on the field, similar to Bart's has all the jobs while he's on the field. What this Yuri has all elements means to me is that he can party with everyone. So whatever your deck is, Mono Fire, Mono Wind, Earth Wind, Earth Water, blah blah blah, he can party with whoever he wants. So that's cool. Dual a total of 3 active backups of the same element, or 2 active backups of the same element, and Yuri. Select one of the following 4 actions. Draw a card. Helps any deck. Choose a forward, deal 4k damage. Doesn't matter if it's dull or active. Amazing. Choose a forward, dull it, and freeze it. Gives other elements access to dulling and freezing. And then choose a forward, it loses all its abilities until the end of its turn. Now that's another effect that we haven't seen much of, which I'm really happy to finally see. So obviously we have Yuna, Minerva, Dancer, and I believe that's it so far. That kind of vanilla stuff. Yuna, Dancer, and Minerva. And so I like that this card does that. Yeah, again, so what I meant by regulating other elements is that Yuri effectively gives a deck sort of a draw engine. So like, you know, to dull, yeah, you'll dull, what's dull 3 backups? Draw a card, not bad. I can live with that. or dull 3, or dull 2 backups in him, draw a card. I can live with that. The dulling and freezing is also very cool too. It's very, I'm not going to say it's situational, but it's helpful, you know. At any point, let's say you're playing this card in the Fire, you know, Paradise Eldnar deck, and you already have Ninja and Red Mage, and then this can attack, that can attack, etc. And then you just dull and freeze the last thing. It's just, sure, why not? And then the ability thing is always great. Let's say you are fighting, I don't know, just off the top of my head, Ice, and you run into the Squall. You have no cards in hand, but you're somehow able to get this. You can block and then just make him lose all his abilities, kind of like how Dancer would. And he'll go back to a 5k, no haste or first strike or whatever, and you'll be able to kill him. Just something like that, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of ways you can utilize this. Again, what I feel that he does as a card altogether is that he gives options to every deck that didn't have certain options to begin with. So if you felt like something was slow because it didn't have draw engine, he could effectively be a draw engine. It's a slow one and it's probably a costly one, but it's still a good one. It's still something better. And then it just helps out with anything. If you're playing Dataluma, Earthwind Dataluma, he's another 4k damage in case you don't have, you're out of Cactuars or something. You have 3 Cactuars, that's 12. You can go for 16 with him. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's just, he does a lot, and he's a good card, and we're gonna get him, you know, foiled with the gold letters for our pre-release. So I really hope you guys will get a pre-releases in your cities. We're lucky enough to get 2 this time, 2 or 3. We'll see how many I hit. The next one, and it's another light card. It's another Yuna. I just don't like that this art seems very similar to the other ones, but I'll read it to you anyway. Forward, summoner, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a summon, you may pay the cost and cast it. You can only use this ability once per turn. I assume you pay it and it goes back. I'm not sure. If you guys can let me know. It says reveal it and you may pay it to cast it. So yeah, I'm assuming it'll go back. And then for 1 CP, remove 3 summons in the break zone from the game. Add Yuna to your hand. You can only use this ability during your main phase. And if Yuna's in your break zone. Meh, uninteresting. I probably should have ended with Yuri, actually, since this will be the last card we talk about. But we'll see. I'm sure it's going to have some use. There's another card that finally can reborn itself. Kind of, I think Noel from last set, the fire one, did something like this. But this one, that other guy was expensive. He was like 6 CP or something like that. She just removes 3 summons, which isn't too bad. But yeah, we're going to see what's up, guys. That's it for the cards. Sorry again, this video took so long. It's my fault for letting all these spoilers get backed up. Yeah, the set comes out in a few weeks, guys. Get excited. In a little less than a month, actually. Not a few weeks. The pre-release will be out in a few weeks, and I don't know if I'll have enough time to show you guys another Opus VII spoiler video, but if not, you guys know we'll talk about them. I'll probably do a set discussion, I guess. Like, we'll do each element and I'll have different groups with me, hopefully. All my friends will do a triple triad, you know, discusses water, and then hopefully I can get some other guests on here to talk about the other elements, set reviews for the set review. So yeah. Alright guys, that's it. Please go get your pre-orders. Don't miss out on this set. Links in the description below. Make sure to stop by. Alright guys, I'll catch you next time.